Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm angry today. I'm angry and I'm really sad. I'm going to be giving you my honest reaction as a foster and adoptive parent on the Supreme Court's decision on Roe v. Wade. So if you're interested in hearing what I have to say as someone who has fostered children and has adopted children, yeah, stick around. But first, if you're new here, my name is Anna Leonora. Together with my husband, Jason, we are foster and adoptive parents in real life. And here on my channel From the Fosters, we do foster and adoptive parenting life together. So if any of that interests you, please consider liking the channel, subscribing down below. Yeah, so you can join my growing cyber family here on YouTube. I want to start by saying that I realize my opinion may cost me followers. And I realize that my opinion may cost me friends and friends on Facebook, may make some of my family members mad at me or some of my husband's family members mad at me. And I don't care. If you want to unfriend me, if you want to not speak to me, if you don't want to be in my life, that's fine. But I am uniquely qualified to talk on this because of all my friends. Well, I can't say all my friends, minus my foster family friends. But of all my other friends, all my family members, my husband's family members, besides one, there's one person in my husband's family that's adopted from foster care. Besides all of them, I'm the only person in my immediate life who has fostered and has adopted from foster care. Obviously, I have made friends in the fostering community, being a foster parent, and I love you guys so much. But outside of them, all my high school friends, college friends, work friends, things like that, I'm the only person I know that fosters. So I am uniquely qualified to speak on this because I do foster and I have adopted children. So I don't care if I piss people off. I think that my opinion needs to be heard. And I think there are a lot of people who are curious to hear my opinion. And if not, don't watch the video. It's fine. If you're not interested in what I have to say, don't watch. If you're here and you're one of my followers and you've been with me all along, I love you. I'm not trying to personally attack anybody. I just want to give my honest reaction as someone who is involved in foster care and has adopted children to what is going on in the United States right now. I do have quite a few followers from the UK, Australia, and a couple other places. So I'm speaking specifically about the Roe versus Wade. The Supreme Court has decided to overturn Roe versus Wade, which has allowed people in the US protection to abortion rights. And now it's going to be up to various states. And there's a lot of very conservative states that are going to ban abortion altogether. My thoughts. I'm pissed. I'm sad. I'm disgusted. And I also want to mention that this has nothing to do for me with religion. It has nothing to do with political party. I was raised conservative. I consider myself fiscally conservative, and I have voted conservative in certain areas my entire voting life. So I understand the point of view of the Conservative Party because I've been in it. I've lived it. I'm also a registered nurse. So I understand from a medical standpoint, when I believe life happens or, that argument. I'm not even here to talk about that argument. And I'm honestly not even here to talk about a woman's rights to her own body. I'm here specifically to speak about the children. So many people who argue against abortion argue for adoption, and adoption being the only loving option. But that is fucking bullshit. Excuse my French. Have you done the research on adoption? I am an adoptive parent. I have adopted children. And I know a lot of other people that do too. I've done the trauma training. Can you say the same? I doubt it. Because if you've done the work to educate yourself on adoption, you would no longer argue that adoption is the only loving option. Adoption is fucking trauma. And the statistics for children who are adopted, whether domestically, from foster care, internationally, adoptees have higher rates of drug abuse, higher rates of homelessness, higher rates of mental health issues, higher rates of prostitution, higher rates of dropping out of high school and not getting an education, higher rates of poverty. Did you know that? Adoptees have a 4.5% of becoming addicted to drugs versus 2.9% of the general population. Did you know that? I'm not saying that there is something wrong with adoption, because I have adopted children and I love them so much. And I would never trade them for anything. Those are my boys. I love them. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that they are in my life. So I'm grateful for the adoption option. But to argue that adoption is the only loving option is bullshit. And it is garbage. And you have not done your research. Adoption is trauma, and it is messy. Not always. You'll find cases here and there of people who were adopted that have no issues, love their adoptive parents, never had mental health problems. But the facts, figures, statistics, and evidence shows that adoptees are more likely to have issues because adoption is trauma. There is already a foster care crisis in this country. There are not nearly enough foster families to handle the amount of children coming into foster care. There are over 125,000 children in foster care in the US right now, currently awaiting adoption. So when you argue women shouldn't be able to get abortions because there are families who want to adopt those kids, fucking where? Where? Because we already have over 125,000 children in foster care awaiting adoption. Where? Mark my words, that number is going to continue to increase. We are going to continue to have a foster care crisis. Not only are we going to continue it at the rate that we're at, but it's going to get worse. If you are banning women's rights to abortion, it will get worse. And personally, I don't believe that anybody who has not become a foster parent or adopted children themselves should have a say in this argument. You may have your religious beliefs. You may have whatever beliefs that you have. But if you are not willing to be part of the solution, then the least you could do is not vote for people who are going to contribute to the problem. You think these women should be forced to have these babies because somebody will adopt them. Why haven't you adopted? Why aren't you a foster parent? Because it's not easy? Because it's scary? Because these kids are damaged? Because you don't want to get attached? Because it's expensive in some cases? So if those are your excuses, what's stopping everybody else from having the same fucking excuses? If you are not willing to be part of the solution by becoming a foster parent and adopting these children, the least you can do is not vote for people who are going to contribute to the problem. And I think that if you do vote for people who are going to contribute to the problem, you should have to become a foster or adoptive parent. No matter how hard it is, no matter how scary it is, no matter how damaged these children are. It's fucking hard to be a foster parent, and it's fucking hard to be an adoptive parent. But you know what's even fucking harder? To be an adoptee or a foster child. That's even harder. If you're not willing to be part of the solution, the least you can do is not vote for people who are going to contribute to the problem. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I don't care. And that's not what this video is about. I have studied the Bible, and I can argue with you 5 ways to heaven about what God says. I don't care what your political beliefs are, because again, I have voted conservative and I grew up conservative and I understand what the conservative argument is. But I also did the scary thing. I did the hard thing, and I became a foster parent, and I have adopted children. I have fostered 8 children. How many of you can say that you've parented 8 children? Not many. How many of you can say that you've parented children that weren't yours biologically? Not many. How many of you can say that you've done trauma training and understand the impact of foster care and adoption on children? Not many. And until you educate yourself on trauma, educate yourself on foster care, educate yourself on the trauma of adoption, and actually become part of the solution by becoming a foster or adoptive parent, I don't think you get to have an opinion on this. Personally, you may have an opinion. Okay, let me rephrase that. You can have an opinion, you can have thoughts, but I don't think you should get to have a say. You want to have a say? Become part of the solution and become a foster parent or adopt some children. Forcing these women who cannot feasibly, comfortably raise a child, whether it's due to poverty, addiction, they already have too many kids, so they just emotionally, physically, whatever, cannot stretch themselves any further. They know that there's an abusive father in the picture and they don't want to subject the child to abuse. Whatever the belief or issue may be, to argue that adoption is the only loving option is bullshit. It's garbage. And to argue that there are people out there, there are so many people out there that want to adopt kids, also bullshit. Because where are they for the 125 plus thousand children in foster care that are awaiting adoption? Where are they? So you're going to make that argument and you're going to say they're out there, but they're making the same fucking argument that you are. All those other people, they're making the same argument as you, saying, oh, they're out there, they're out there, they're out there. That argument doesn't count. It doesn't work because there's not enough people willing to adopt. That's the reality. Too many people are afraid of adoption. They're afraid of getting a damaged child. They're afraid of getting a child with behaviors. They don't want to raise children that aren't biologically theirs. Or they can't afford it. I'm not even going to get into the cost of adoption for private domestic adoption and international adoption. Let's not even talk about the price of that right now. or they wouldn't qualify, because there's a lot of rules around who would qualify to adopt and who wouldn't. There are not enough families to adopt the children that currently need adopting. And that number is just going to grow with this decision. I'm heartbroken. I'm angry. I don't know what the answer is. Besides, if you're one of these people watching this saying, oh, adoption's the only loving option, and there's all these families that want to adopt, and oh, life begins at conception and we need to save those babies, then you need to go become a foster parent. I have videos on my channel. Check my channel out about where to start if you want to become a foster parent. Reach out to me directly. I'm here. You want to learn how to become a foster parent? Come to me. I will be happy to teach you. I'm at From the Fosters on Instagram. My DMs are always open. Come to me. I will tell you what you need to do to start the process to become a foster parent, or to start the process for adopting from foster care. I'm happy to help. But if you are not willing to be part of the solution, the very least that you can do for children in foster care and for the people who are doing the work to try to help these children in foster care, the very least you can do is not vote for people who are going to contribute to the problem. If you've stuck with me this long and you're planning on still being one of my subscribers, my followers, I love you. If you're someone who's also incredibly hurt and disgusted by this decision, I feel it. I'm here with you. I feel it. There are online birth control options if going to your doctor is not an option. Simple Health is one of them. I will try to remember to leave a link down below for Simple Health. You can get birth control for as low as $7 a month if you don't have insurance. And if you do have insurance, it's often free. I'll leave the link down below if I can remember. And if you just need to talk, again, I'm at From the Fosters on Instagram. My DMs are open. I'm sure there's a lot of other people feeling how I'm feeling, but I think that as someone who actually does do something for these kids, I'm uniquely qualified to share my opinion on that. I'm horrified by the system as it is. The foster care system as it is horrific. And this is just going to make it worse. Mark my words. Again, I didn't want to target anybody or make anybody feel bad, but I'm not in a great headspace over this. And I'm really angry. So I don't even know how to finish this video. If you're still here, I love you. Go out and continue to shine your light into the world. We need a lot more joy right now. So the more joy you can bring to others, the better. This is Norman. He's an ally and a support. Aren't you, bud? He likes to sit with me when I get really riled up. See? Good boy. I love you all. And until next time, go out, shine your light into the world. Bye.